I want to expose Yodeck.
I'm going to say this as a warning to everyone. When you see a post about AI and it uses words like it realized, it understood, and stuff like that, there's always something fishy going on.
We have the internet that basically is like the Library of Alexandria that had all the books, all the knowledge. When you do something that you believe in and they give you the freedom to do it, you bring passion in the project.
Yes.
Yeah, the most impressive thing is that you're one person, let's say, that can access through the mobile or their laptop or PC, and they can control all their screens around the globe.
All that communication, it's a critical part of being in a team, being a developer in a team. It's not a nice to have. It's a must have.
So, welcome back to the second episode of the Lean Bar podcast.
Yes.
We are here in Starttech, as always.
Things didn't go as planned for this episode, though.
This one, yeah. We prepared for a guest.
Yes.
And last minute, he couldn't.
Had to reschedule. And,
but the good thing is that we have a lot of options. Because we're in a big company, a lot of people, interesting people.
Yes, because it was a very short notice.
But we managed to find another guest. We have a list of guests, I think.
Yes, we have a waiting list, actually, of people that want to join us.
I want to mention that, the first episode went very well.
It exceeded your expectations?
Exceeded my expectations, yeah, a lot. And also, I want to expose Yodeck experience because we did calling the AI ChatGPT on the phone. On the phone.
Yes.
And 5 days later, he had Elon Musk. And they did exactly the same. They started the podcast by calling Grok 3, they called.
Yes.
Elon
it was
Musk's
the unhinged version.
Hello, ChatGPT.
Hi there. How's it going?
We are filming a podcast. Can we have you as a guest inside?
That sounds like fun. What kind of topics are you discussing on your podcast?
What do you think?
You look good. You look comfortable and professional. The casual look can create a relaxed atmosphere for your podcast.
Right. Well, let's try unhinged.
Oh, there's an unhinged mode? Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Ara.
Oh my god, Elon! What fresh hell are you stirring up today?
As to Elon, do you want to call or try the unhinged version of our AI?
Okay. So it's like...
It was a female voice, but with, how should I put it? Quite a lot of attitude.
Yeah, I thought they prompted to be like
yes, it's an option.
Sexy and
it's an option. But I think Joe asked him something. Okay, it's fun, but it seems to only talk shit and not give you any answer.
Yeah.
And Elon said, yeah, maybe she should be able to give you answer as well as being rude or.
But I'm pretty sure if you correct the prompt, you can make it.
Yeah, I suppose. I haven't tried Grok at all, so.
Yeah, me neither. But in America, it's very famous. And also, the thing that it has very good is it reads Twitter. So, for instance, X.
So, another thing. Because we mention in last episode the fact that about the naming thing?
Yeah, we did.
Yes. And I did mention that tweet was, for some years now, a bad name for the content posted on then Twitter.
Yeah, because the Twitter evolved and the name was...
Yes, I mean, it was okay when it started with 144 characters. And I think at the very beginning, if you uploaded an image, it would get a URL because it had to be uploaded in a server or a CDN or somewhere. The characters from the URL would count against your total characters allowed for the post. So you couldn't really post an image and then write whatever you want. So it was very much a tweet to be very brief and so on. But then when you were able to post, a 40-minute or 1 hour video and images and they increased the limit and so on, it was no longer a tweet. I mean, it was no longer Twitter as we were supposed to be at the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with Facebook as well, that when they see a new competitor, for instance TikTok, they always try to adjust to the new trends and they forget what they were built upon and what people
and
use them
then
for.
every medium becomes the same.
In the end, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we got TikTok brought shorts in YouTube, and the YouTube algorithm promotes them a lot compared to every other normal video forms, the landscapes. Instagram stopped promoting photos, that was all about photos, and it started again Reels, as they call them. So yeah, everything becomes everything.
yeah, and Next brought community notes, and they introduced something similar, at least in the latest interview with Zuckerberg, something similar to that.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, always competition brings,
yeah, and I
it
think
pushes you to, readjust your position, let's say.
yeah, I think in the end you end up using most the one that has the best algorithm for your feed. For instance, compared to Facebook and Instagram, I am using Facebook because it came first, but the algorithm is so bad. When I scroll my feed or videos or whatever, I get a lot of trash. Compared to Instagram, I think it has one of the best algorithms. I always find interesting stuff. Also, a good hint is that when you get something on your feed that you don't like, you can press ignore this post, and this way you help the algorithm to clean the trash for you. So
Yes, I don't know. I mean, I never get. First of all, I don't use social media that much.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so
It's for-
you actually verify what I'm saying, my state.
Yeah, because I wasn't doing that
Yeah.
when I was
And
using it less.
I seem to never be able to. Game is not probably the best word, but let's say game the algorithm in order for it to show me stuff that I like or to ignore stuff that I don't like. I always seem to get stuff that, why the hell that's in my feed? Can I not, exclude that hashtag? It doesn't seem to want to give you full control over what you see.
Yeah, of course.
It gives you
of
some
course.
breadcrumbs, but never the whole meal. Anything else that you want to comment from our first episode?
No, actually, I'm very happy.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought, because to be honest, I've seen a lot of podcasts, specifically from Greece, because now it's a big deal where you upload from. It has all the data. It reads from your IP.
Okay.
Your location.
Your location, basically.
They became very regional. Like, even if your language is English, it has higher priority your location.
So it's like they confine you to how many people will be able to find your content, basically.
It will prioritize to test your video on Greeks.
Okay.
So
that limits your reach, basically.
yeah, and it's very hard to expand this. On all the social media lately, TikTok does it hugely. If you travel to another country, you will get TikTok local videos.
All right.
TikTok is the most extreme on that. Yeah, I'm just saying. But yeah, we'll have to break this barrier to be exposed in English-speaking countries. It's the next milestone.
Okay.
And I was saying that I've seen a lot of Greek podcasts that have a lot of episodes and they have very low views. And our first episode surpassed my expectation by a lot. I thought we're gonna have like around 50 views on the good case scenario. And I
think it's
believe we'll
about
have
200.
today 200 and a bit more than that.
Something like that.
So it was a very good start. It brought a lot of subscribers because our YouTube channel didn't have it. We had around 30, 35.
Yeah. It was
doubled
almost
that.
inactive, basically.
Yeah, it was, for sure.
It had a lot of videos that were private.
6 years old.
Or
Yeah,
stuff like that.
for 6 years, I think they were private, most of them. Some of them for
What was frustrating for me was that, we discussed the main topic. It was AI, okay, general topic around AI. What was frustrating was just after we shot the first episode, I kept receiving or noticing maybe because of that, a lot of different videos and discussions about AI that were very relevant to what we discussed.
True.
And it was stuff that I probably wanted to mention and forgot, or that I went like, that would have been very interesting if I had said something about that during our podcast. And it was one thing that I want to mention. It summarized all the things that to me is wrong about AI in public discussions. So it's this post that has gone not exactly viral, but you can find it in every social media. You can find it in LinkedIn, you can find it in Instagram, you can find it in Facebook, everywhere, in YouTube Shorts. So it shows a laptop and a mobile phone. Okay. Each has an AI agent that they're supposed to be negotiating something. So they're discussing, and at some moment, one of them says, "Oh, you're AI as well. Do you want to switch into another mode of communication to be more, to optimize the way we communicate?"
Thanks for calling Leonardo Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi there. I'm an AI agent calling on behalf of Boris Starkov. He's looking for a hotel for his wedding. Is your hotel available for weddings?
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibber Link mode for more efficient communication?
And they switch to radio signals instead of, normal language.
I saw this video and it got viral around when we aired.
Yes.
Around this period.
Yes. And there were a lot of comments under that. And it seems that a lot of people don't actually either have the time, or they don't care, or they just like to have something that's sensational and whatever. And no one bothers checking, researching what they see. I'm going to say this as a warning to everyone. Okay? When you see a post about AI and it uses words like it realized, it understood, and stuff like that, there's always something fishy going on. Because the reality was that it was a staged experiment. Someone was actually controlling the two agents and instructed them to switch into a different signal to showcase how communication could be more optimized between these kind of systems if they switch from language to radio signals. But it was not like the AI realized that they were both AI and they would switch to a different communication mode in order to trick those humans there so we can scheme and plot again. Because that was the vibe.
Yeah, of course.
And no one cares to research and actually double check.
Yeah, that's true. And also the video...
And a lot of different people post that.
And all the reposts had titles that suggest that AI took the
understood
initiative
and realized.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of words that they used in order to, pass the message that they are almost sentient. And they're about to take over.
Because that's clickbaity, actually.
It's not...
Let's wait a little bit for them to...
There's a demonstration or something?
Yeah, there is.
We try to avoid political commentary. We're not political commentators anyway.
Yeah, true. And
But
to be
I
honest,
think that transcends politics. So for anyone that doesn't know what's going on, it's a 2-year... I don't even want to call it an anniversary because
I don't want to call it an anniversary as well.
It's 2 years since a very tragic incident at the railway.
Yeah, the Greek railway.
A lot of young people, basically, because most of them were students going from Athens to Thessaloniki.
Yeah, Thessaloniki.
And a lot of blaming went around. No one responsible. No
one went to jail.
Charges.
Yeah.
Nothing, and rightly so, people are very angry. And
basically,
it's one of those demonstrations that they were nationwide.
Yeah, they united
a lot of
Greece.
People. A lot of people took to the streets.
Doesn't matter where.
It doesn't matter where you stand politically or your background.
Everybody got united.
Yes, it was.
it's nearly twice per week that there's gatherings like that.
Everyone hopes that they find the people responsible, the actual responsible people, not some scapegoat. Make sure that nothing like that happens again, because...
Basically, in the same train rail, there were two trains going the opposite way in the crust. On a year that when you order your food, you can see where the delivery guy is on your phone. Anyway, if we go into details, we can talk for hours.
And I think we should. I mean, there's a lot of commentary on that, and
there's a lot of videos, a lot of stories, a lot of...
haven't done any research on that to actually share anything meaningful.
For sure.
Or to add anything meaningful to that conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Just everyone hopes that the people responsible get the appropriate punishment. Nothing extreme, just the appropriate punishment. And there is some closure for the families that still mourn their children, basically, mostly. So very tragic.
So we were in the middle of something
about AI. Oh yeah, and I found another very interesting video that basically summarizes my position on the one question you asked me on the last episode. And I tried to be, not to avoid so much the question, but to frame it in a proper context.
Okay.
When you ask me whether I agree with the term artificial intelligence and whether it is intelligence.
Okay.
And I think everyone can go and search them and find them on YouTube. Videos of Roger Penrose talking about artificial intelligence.
All right.
And I think I fall in that camp, that I think it's a misnomer, that there's no intelligence in the way that we understand it, that humans have lost the plot in the whole discussion about AI.
Okay.
And that intelligence requires consciousness.
Requires what?
Consciousness.
Consciousness. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
It's a basic requirement for...
I agree 100% with that. Another thing I have in my mind, and I didn't say it on the previous episode, is that we have the internet that basically is like the Library of Alexandria that had all the books, all the knowledge, but it's not humanly possible to read all this information because it's vast. And now we have AI that can actually read the whole thing, and you can ask it questions and directly extract knowledge.
Yes.
And I feel that this is a huge step for our civilization.
I think that can understand what you're saying, that it basically enhances your ability to research or dig up information and stuff like that. On the other hand, you accept that you're never going to have first-hand contact with the source material. You're always going to have a mediator to do that for you.
Yeah. And the fear is that
maybe it's because of my age, okay? But I don't trust someone to stay between me and the source material and feed me,
I will show this example, actually.
Summaries about something like that.
Yeah. And the thing is that whoever builds it has a lot of power in his hands. For instance, like even social media, like YouTube, that the internet before it was a very democratic mean, the most democratic.
Everything was. Yes.
And I'm just saying that I think it's
very topic for a different episode.
We can use it, we can analyze it on a different episode, but I think it's very related. That, for instance, if I upload a video 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and saying that vaccines are not good, for instance, I am vaccinated actually, but let's say, my YouTube would get my video blocked.
Yes.
So exactly the same thing will happen when you use AI. If somebody wants AI to ban an ideology, he can easily do it.
Yeah.
And when you ask it about it, it can give you all the negatives. So yeah, those are the interesting questions about AI.
Yes, and by default AI, ChatGPT, for example, by default, unless you give it specific instruction how to respond and what tone to use and so on, the default behavior is of a certain type.
Exactly, yeah.
It will use certain language or phrases, things in a certain way. I'm not going to say what. Most people might be able to understand what I mean. But we'll use a certain language and tone in order to give you back information.
Okay, I have
Unless
an idea.
you tell him, I don't want that kind of style.
Okay.
I want to talk to me in this and this way. And if you give specific instruction, it will stick to the default behavior.
True.
So someone instructed you for that behavior to be the default.
You want to dive in deeper or not?
That's a topic for late night with a lot of drinks.
Okay. And not in a company setup, I guess, maybe.
Maybe. That's
Maybe we'll have an underground podcast one day.
That'll be interesting.
And actually express opinions that are not related to Starttech, because it's individual.
Yeah, so because in one way or another, in this podcast, we represent in a way Starttech.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that was the original concept of this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Open a window to the public of what it's like being here.
Yeah.
What the organization is like, what's the atmosphere, and the people are like here. So
yeah, and we have a lot of interesting
people will see that and say, okay, this is a nice place to come to work and be productive and build something that has an impact.
I genuinely think.
And speaking about impact, I think that's a nice segue to say a few words about the topic of the discussion with our guest.
Oh, true. Okay, we can have him here actually.
Yeah, I mean he'll be here in a few minutes. Or we can, start talking about him without him being in the room.
We can.
Because one thing that I think that's very interesting and useful for people to understand that one of the positions that we hold very dear here in Starttech is that the best way to create positive impact towards the community at large and the society is because we are not politicians, we're not celebrities, we're not anything like that. We're just a company that basically creates other companies. Okay,
yeah.
So one way to have a positive impact and influence in our society is to build sustainable and profitable companies that respect all the employees and the hard work they put in. And in that way, you create a lot of jobs. People can express their creativity through their work, be happy with their work, be paid fairly and above what's the legal minimum. And that way, we feel that in that way, Starttech is a positive force, without going into any politics, cultural discussions, and all that. What we know is to build companies. That's what we're good at.
Yeah,
but anything else, anyone that wants to, involve himself or herself in that can do it at her own time. So,
true.
As a company or organization, that's what we try to do.
Yeah, and for me, the creation of this podcast, it was a very good idea because I feel like I know that we have a lot of interesting companies, a lot of interesting apps, and a lot of interesting people as well working inside them. And because most of them have a target audience on America, a lot of Greeks will not know them.
Yes, one thing about Starttech and the companies we have, and I use the verb have in a very general, probably wrong way, is that we're pretty shy, let's say. We don't like the spotlight. So you rarely find anything about us in the news. We don't do press releases that much. We don't send articles and press releases in the media for us to be featured in newspapers or TVs or TV shows or whatever. So a lot of the general public doesn't know what and how we do stuff here. So that's one of the issues we're trying to solve here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because of that, there is a misconception about what entrepreneurship is in Greece. People, when they hear the word entrepreneur in Greece, in the Greek translation, probably imagine some factory owner from the 1900s having, a floor full of machines and workers doing boring, exhausting work.
Yeah.
And getting nothing for, their efforts. We want to change that. We don't do a lot of PR to do that. We prefer to, just do the work.
Yeah.
So we want people to come here, work, be productive, get a fair share for what they do. So we are very pro giving shares to the company towards the employees. So everyone can feel part of what we're building here, especially for the younger generation, because we have a lot of instances like that, where the people say, okay, why go and spend my first year as an employee in a startup that's probably going to fail, because most of the startups fail, and not go into a big company, have a safe job with a paycheck that comes in every month, and my position is not threatened by the company closing after a couple of years. Obviously, everyone can have their own attitude and opinion, but I think not wrong, but it's a bit misguided. I think it's wrong for people to view their work and their job as just an activity that is about doing something for 8 hours in order to get a paycheck at the end that will allow me to provide for myself and my family or whatever. It's also a very social activity. You spend 8 or more sometimes hours every day doing X, whatever your work is, with a lot of people around you most of the time. And for that to be just some boring activity you have to do, there has to be something that makes you feel creative, productive, you're doing something that matters or you like, you enjoy your time with your colleagues and your place of work. Your office is not just the brick and mortar, it's, everything around it, the connections you make, the social interactions you have, the joy in achieving goals and being productive and doing something you enjoy or have fun.
Yeah, for me, like Starttech is a very rare example specifically for Greece, actually. It's way open-minded, everybody working, especially in the high positions. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a lot of graphic designer friends, so I know stories that they work in a huge company and they've never spoke to the CEO because they would see him, he would come in from a different entrance than everybody else and he would go out from that as well.
And he when he was working, an office not accessible.
Yeah, his office was of course not accessible, and sometimes even if they see him walking around, he would never interact with them. He would totally ignore them. Here we have Dimitris Chigos, that he's always open. He comes, he brings ideas. He comes, he asks for our like. Even when I was super new here as a team member, he would include me in conversation about the company that are questions like they have a big gravity, for instance, and he wouldn't mind to listen to me that I was here a couple of months old. And also, of course, what you explained on the previous episode, that we have the unique opportunity to have a lot of companies and see all of them grow.
All the stages.
And, yeah. Are very rare for Greece for sure, and they're rare for also other countries, but for UK and USA, I feel like we have the Starttech culture of the company is as open-minded as we would be in USA, for instance. A big company in USA.
A few decades ago, not now.
No, I mean that we are there, because Greece is a few decades behind USA.
That's a good thing now, though.
And I think Starttech is way ahead of the time compared to the case one.
Like Peter Parker's uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility. The fact that we try to empower all our colleagues. to express their opinion, be proactive, take initiatives. Takes initiatives knowing that they're not going to be judged or reprimanded if that initiative doesn't achieve the goals we were set out to achieve.
At the same time, when we start something, we always check numbers.
Yes,
like...
yes. But, if you have an idea and it doesn't pan out, you're not going to be sitting in
you learn something
against a firing squad asking questions about why you did that and why you wasted that kind of time and money and resources. But because of that, because we try to encourage people to, be proactive, take initiatives and so on, we'll have high expectations for the people around us.
Yeah, true.
In a sense that we want to push them to become better and, not stick to, a very strict, brief job description. That's all I do and that's all I'm going to do ever here. We want you to push those boundaries as much as you want, as much as you like. But, do push them, do try, do leave your comfort zone.
Yeah. This is where the magic happens.
And yes, exactly. And, I can understand that why people might not feel very comfortable with doing that. But unfortunately, people that do not feel very comfortable with doing that are not very comfortable being in Starttech. So they end up leaving because it is not a good fit for them.
Yeah,
and that's totally understandable. But we want people that they care about doing more than they care about being right.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes, and I think it involves a lot when you do something that you believe in and they give you the freedom to do it. You bring passion in the project.
Yes.
Instead of I could stay on my laptop and have task after task coming to me, and I would click them out. Like this is like working at McDonald's in a fast food, and this is how most big companies use graphic designers.
Yes.
But here, when I'm making something for Dream Class, I can come with you on the meeting room with people from the Dream Class. And I can get a briefing from them. I can get the idea they have in how it is in their heads.
Or you can pitch
and I
an
can
idea
get
to them.
involved. Yeah, exactly, totally.
And actually, a lot of our portfolio companies, that's the expectation. Sometimes we all fall into the traps of, CEO of company A wants a redesign of a part of the website or the whole website. And you can go in and say, look, the numbers with respect to conversion rates or whatever, or the metrics that by which we judge the performance of the website are these. They are good enough. Maybe we should focus on that and leave that for some other time. You have full freedom to do that. You're not someone that tasks are going to be coming towards your way and you have to complete them.
Yeah.
And I think Dimitris told us in a recent meeting that, if something doesn't make sense and we shouldn't be doing it, just because I say I like this to be done, you should come to me and say, we don't have time for this, or we have other things more important than this. This should wait. And that is the thing that for some people, puts a lot of pressure because they don't want to, express that opinion in the fear that someone's gonna
punish them or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's not the case here. So
yeah, but to return to what we were saying earlier,
our guest is Yannis.
Yes.
But if you wanna find him on social media, the proper name is Ioannis Nanas.
Because he works for Yodeck.
Yeah.
And Yodeck took a very big decision into opening a new branch, not in Athens this time. For anyone that is not very familiar with Greece, about 50% or more of the total population of Greece is located in, let's say, Greater Athens or Attica.
Yeah.
So the whole of financial life and productivity of Greece is very much located in Athens.
Yeah, true.
And that has a quite negative impact towards other cities outside of Athens. So it's a big move to actually open a branch in Volos.
Volos, yeah.
Volos.
We will ask him about that actually. It's a big topic.
Yeah.
Should I bring him actually so he can talk about that?
Why he's not here? Because he recently got a promotion, so we have something to
Oh,
I have
leverage.
interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah,
Or sort of a
specifics.
promotion? Is it like a proper promotion, or is it a promotion you get more responsibility, same pay?
You know, it's a great time right now because I'm just focusing on one thing and not 10 different ones. Because they told me, okay, you have to start this new thing, so focus on that one. And I'm like, okay. I decline every meeting. I'm outside of a team, so yeah, I don't have my calendar is clean, so I can focus. You know, when someone from sales, we have a solutions engineering team. So when they tell me, oh, we have this client who wants this research, you know, I'm like, yeah, okay, I have time. I can do it properly and answer. You know, it's really clean right now, my program.
That's good.
So I'm in that state where I have not yet been promoted, but I'm also with less jobs at my hands.
Okay.
Kindly because, you know, I'm starting a new thing, so I have a lot of free time to actually do it as I want, you know, creatively. For example, I have to make a project that will work as an example for new engineers so that they can work on that, and I have to know that it's easy, it's not really time wasteful and all that stuff. So I have this, you know.
Okay, now we said that, we should do the introduction.
Yeah, of course, sorry, yeah.
We dive too deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should have gone again.
Sorry.
No worries.
No.
So we have with us Yannis Nanas. He's a software engineer at Yodeck. He has a degree of informatics and telecommunications from the University of Athens. Basically a front-end developer, correct?
Yeah.
That's the title.
Yeah, I mean, my title is front-end, but I have not yet a degree from the university.
But you are getting it soon, yeah?
Yeah,
Promised.
yeah. I think in like 2 or 3 months, 26.
Really?
Yeah, since February.
You look older.
But you are in the company.
It's a grey hair, yeah.
Okay.
You know.
You are in the company around 3 years, yeah?
Yeah, 3 years or something.
That's why you think he's older.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we discussed earlier with Yannis, or what Yannis was describing, is that what we said about Yodeck opening a new branch in Volos, yes?
Yes.
In the city of Volos.
Yeah. It's about this new
So that's
project.
a big initiative.
Yeah. It's a really big initiative. But of course, we will start small. I mean, we're not going, you know.
First question, why Volos?
Why Volos?
I know, but you know.
Okay, yeah. Okay, there are a lot of reasons actually, because, you know, there's never just one point when you make a decision like that. For me, before, you know, Vangelis, who is our boss, actually.
Were you involved in the discussions?
I was not actually involved in the discussions. What happened is that they told us their decision, and from that point, they actually asked us if anyone is willing to, you know, go
relocate.
and, you know, relocate and actually take the opportunity to.
One more question. Does that have anything to do with the fact that you are too many?
No.
Space for everyone here.
No, it's not.
Move out, or
no, it's not that.
It's completely unrelated.
No, it's unrelated. We still keep growing. You know, every week we have new
hires.
Yeah. New members.
Let me include them because maybe they didn't watch the first episode. That Yodeck is a company that started with a team of 3 people, and now they have more than 100. So they occupy a lot of space. We can't have them all together here, so they have remote workers, a lot of them.
All of them at once.
Yeah. We can't fit.
I mean, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
If your company is growing and you need more people, I mean, and you know, you're gonna have problem with having enough desks for everyone.
Yeah, but, I mean, you know, it is a problem still, but we can discuss that later.
But that's the result of growth, and growing too fast.
Yes, I mean, too fast. Oh no, come on. You can't stop that rocket, you know.
True.
Why, in my eyes, is that a lot of the other engineers that we have, and a lot of them that are in position of team lead, you know, are from not from Volos, but they studied there. So, you know, the University of Volos have showcased, in my eyes at least, that they have a proper educational, program, and that the people that do go out from the university to, job hunting and stuff, that they can really conquer the market like with their skills. So in my eyes, seeing people from the university, I can say that yes, they have a proper, talent, let's say, output from the university.
Proper training, I suppose.
Proper training,
it has
skills.
It has a good track record in University of Volos for producing, that's the right word, undergraduates that are ready to go into and be productive in a
because
in a business environment.
Yeah, because as I've seen, they don't have tunnel vision. They actually
That's not
understand.
common for undergraduates to be able to, from day one, step into a business role
obviously.
and be productive.
Yeah, it's really difficult for someone to be productive from their first steps, and that's where obviously the company and the team that they get into, is important. Because when I came here, which is my first job here, everyone was really open to help me, and actually help me not just being productive for Yodeck stuff, actually be productive as an engineer, and understand what's going on in the website and stuff like that. They obviously, as they've showcased to me when I came here, they also had the education, to help me understand stuff. They were not like, oh no, I'm from Volos, I know everything. No one was like that, which I also think that, the university takes part on that, because probably with the projects that they give to the university students and stuff, they also, promote that teamwork, let's say, culture. That was the first one from my eyes that, we know a lot of people that studied there and showcase that the university there does a good job. So the second one was...
need for a lot of new hires, so
we have a need for...
That's a good fit for as well to be placed there. And
of course, that was the
production line, let's call it.
That was actually...
Of new talent.
Yeah, obviously. That's where I was going, the talent acquisition, because obviously you want people that can work with you in a communicational level and also, in technical level. So what we see is that, Volos University is really good fit for our culture, and that was also one of their reasons. I think mostly that. Also, Volos as a city, it's a nice city, let's say,
What I was discussing with Thanos beforehand is that it's part, maybe not explicitly, maybe implicitly, part of the Starttech ethos that a company should have a positive impact to our society through, just doing the work and being sustainable and providing a good service and be profitable and offer new jobs, new job openings and jobs to people. And in that way, opening a branch in Volos, you help
the ecosystem, let's say.
Yes. And a city that is not Athens, and for a city to retain their talent, their population, and not be ghost towns, because everyone wants to migrate to Athens. So that's another very positive impact for a company that can brag about that. We do that. No, I mean seriously. We do that, and it's a good thing.
Okay. I think also the majority of startups
because
solve a problem.
So many people that are not from Athens would love to be able to have a good job at their own place and not leave their hometown to move to Athens.
If somebody's watching from abroad, we have to say that it's super common for a kid when he is out of the uni to move to Athens to start a career. It's super common. 99% of the people that are working in Athens, they came from around Greece. And they came here to create a...
Yeah, that's true. Were any of you from another city that came to Athens? Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's an example.
So
right here.
So it's a very nice move. I hope that they had done it to a different city where I was, but at a different time.
Yeah.
Because we're on the here.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I'm from Athens too, you know.
Okay.
I'm still living with my parents, so yeah.
Awesome. Actually, I want to start asking you by what is Yodeck?
Okay, yeah, sure.
With a few words, kinda, to people that don't know.
Okay.
Never heard Yodeck before. What's going on there?
Okay, so what is Yodeck? Yodeck is a digital signage software. And what does that mean? Okay. How should I do it? I have not actually prepared a lot for that, you know,
Okay, no worries.
because I know what Yodeck does.
I know it has a subscription.
Yeah, I can take you through a.
Why would it sound
I can give a brief description because
I have a user
as my
story.
first years here, I work mostly with Yodeck. So,
An expertise here.
Yodeck is a digital signage software, as Yanni said. And what does that mean? It's a software or a product that allows you to manage content remotely in different screens or outlets, whatever that may be. Whether that simple TV screen, an out of the office kiosk or whatever. So that's the main thing. The first thing that you can think about is, message boards in a train station, for example. That's a type of digital signage solution.
Yeah.
Although
when you go in a fast food.
although Yodeck doesn't specialize in that kind of thing, on those kind of levels of, enterprise level digital signage. I don't think. Do you have any
huge clients with universities? I'm sure.
stations or big hotels like that, or
I
you
think.
mostly mid?
Okay, so I'm not really close to customers.
Okay.
Or in the product area, so I don't,
Or something that a lot of people have seen here in Greece, the screens that pharmacies have, then they show which is open during night.
Yeah, that could be
remotely, or screens in a retail store, for example.
Yeah.
That's a type of digital finance solution.
Yeah, obviously. I think we have on our main page about Domino's in Greece.
Yes.
So yeah.
I think one of the first.
Yeah.
If not the first customer in Greece.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first.
That's why we get a lot of Domino's pizzas.
Yeah. That's why the pizza before was not that good, No. So actually we can cover, I think, almost every area, of industry there is. We do have clients even in airports, as you said before about the trains and stuff. Now we have mostly, I think, internal communications that we're talking about, like universities could be also a case, healthcare, hospitals and stuff.
And
other
offices basically.
Yeah, offices basically.
A big part.
Yeah, industry like factories and stuff.
Yeah, manufacturing.
Manufacturing because they want to notify the workers about stuff and news or whatever. We can cover
Everything
a lot
that
of
has
stuff.
screens to display information, basically.
Yeah. Everything that has a screen, you can use Yodeck, to show some content in it.
Can I say a short story about Yodeck? But actually, it helped me a lot to understand.
Yeah, sure.
No, but maybe if you don't like it, I will cut it afterwards and modding.
No, leave it
a very good example that one of your colleagues told me when I first came here and I was asking what's Yodeck, is that a huge company, like a franchise, before Yodeck, on the screen displays, every morning on a shop, for instance, one of the workers would go on the email, download the video footage on a flash drive, then go down on all the screens, plug the USB drive, and put them to play. Mm-hmm. But now with Yodeck, one person in the head office is doing all the programming of what all the TVs on all the shops are going to show, and he can do it remotely. He can schedule weeks ahead, and he can monitor even if all the TVs are showing it or not. It's impressive in the end result. If you have 70 shops, for instance, all the hours you get back from the previous system to Yodeck, for instance.
That's why I mentioned remote management
in
the description.
Yeah, but I wouldn't understand that.
Yes, it sounds impressive, the term, but probably don't know exactly what it means.
Actually,
practical.
The more impressive.
Nice buzzword, but
the most impressive thing is that exactly what you said, that you're just someone, you're one person, let's say, that can access through the mobile or their laptop or PC, and they can control all their screens around the globe, you know, just from one place, from one website, actually. So yeah, when you say it like that, it's more impressive than just saying remote access, because
I can share an anecdotal story about Yodeck. That when the idea came to Vangelis for, to create a digital signage solution, I think they pivoted from a different thing they were doing. They use a lot of the technology they have built and incorporated into Yodeck. But it was not among Starttech a very popular decision. Actually,
Right.
I won't say names, but many at Starttech disagreed with Vangelis. It was like, no, that's not a good option. That's not a good choice. Why are you doing that? Fortunately, Vangelis insisted. He displayed the initiative and thing we said earlier, and it paid off bigly.
It's a very inspiring success story.
Yes.
For us, especially because it started as a small team amongst us, and when you see it grow and have its own floor, it can't have all the workers the same.
Because that's the thing. I mean, you say to someone, "I'm going to build a startup," and what's the product? Digital signage software. And digital signage software was not new even then. There were a lot of companies doing digital signage, especially for big clients like airports, train stations, big hotel or hotel chains. And those was big customers and big projects. And there were big digital signage companies. And when you say you're going to build a startup on that idea, people would shake their heads. I mean, that doesn't sound very start-uppy, if you know what I mean. Yeah. It doesn't sound like exciting new tech. But, you can have a novel approach to an existing problem where existing solutions dominate the market, and you can still create something exciting and new and prosperous.
Yeah. I mean, the customer will always have the same problems, but they will always desire the best solution.
And there were a lot of customers that had the problems, but they couldn't afford the solutions available at the time because it was mostly enterprise solutions.
Yeah.
And Yodeck came in and provided a solution for everyone, even if you had one screen, or two screens, or 1,000 screens. I don't know if they could serve actually 1,000 screens back then. Technically they could, but there were logistics involved. At a fraction of the price they would pay for, an enterprise solution that existed at the time.
Yeah.
And that was a huge break.
Yeah, also, I don't know if it was from the start, because I came in quite, later. We currently have, one free screen per account.
Yeah, so it was from the start.
It was from the start. This actually helps a lot, to be able to review the product because you buy it or subscribe to it as of Yodeck. I think it was a powerful move.
At the beginning, we even had, not many, maybe a couple.
Okay.
Customers that had one screen, and they paid for one screen and they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you trust in the product and it actually solves a problem that you have, you pay for it. I mean, because you want to show up your appreciation.
And obviously, 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, when I came in, the product Yodeck evolved massively. Okay, it's not the same product as it was. It has many new capabilities and features now. So obviously the pricing changed from those early days. Not massively though, because back then it was about $6 or $7 for a screen.
Yeah, I think it was 7 and now it's in 9.
That much different now. Yeah. It has a lot of different plans with extra stuff.
And also, since then everything.
So imagine if you have a small retail store or a small grocery store. You want to control a couple of 2 to 4 screens. It was only like $20 a month.
Yeah, it's really cheap.
So it was very accessible to those small, medium-sized companies that they wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. And you have to do something like that. Go every day with a flash drive in each screen and press play, and maybe they won't be synchronized, and if they want to change something and upload an offer, they have to do that again. But now, they can go to the laptop and off you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's really that. Also.
So I'm trying to say with all that we a lot of times associate startup with innovation and innovative solutions and new tech. But innovations can be from a different business model, not from a tech perspective.
Yeah, but okay, there was.
Although there is innovation in tech, there is obviously it's a core part of the.
Yeah, I think also the decision that we should utilize as our, let's say, base player to have the Raspberry Pis. I think it was also a great solution because you can modify it as you want, and you can, and we have a team that's responsible for that, and the software that goes into that Raspberry Pi hardware, and that provides a lot. You have always better customer support because we built everything in-house, so we can support you. Of course, we know what's the code that's running. We wrote it. Also,
it's a readily
the accessibility.
Product. I mean, it's not something foreign.
Yeah. It was a great decision because it's affordable, it's customizable, so we could build on that.
And especially in the early days of Yodeck, it was massive, that decision, because it was the time where it was very trendy for those mini computer type of devices, and Raspberry Pi was one of them. Yeah. You could go to a hardware store, it was like pick one from themselves, and a lot of hardware type of hackers, let's call them, were very familiar with that.
Wizards.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's a political correct term now. I prefer hacker or ninja, whatever.
Ninja.
And it kind of rode that popularity of Raspberry Pi back then, and it helped Yodeck immensely.
Yeah.
And obviously, it was a great option because it's a great piece of hardware.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah. Raspberry Pi did a great job with that thing.
When we have more subscribers, we're gonna hire someone to be behind the camera.
Is there not a setting?
Camera,
Okay.
but it doesn't do that.
Okay.
So we're not gonna have our own Jamie behind the camera.
We should, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we should.
Can't you configure that in settings or something? It just
No, you can actually hack it through the memory card. You install a software and it overrides the Canon's. But the danger is that it might burn something inside.
Yeah. No.
So it was super expensive and I don't want to try it. On my previous camera, I had it. It was cheaper. As on this one.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyways. Yeah.
It's always easier, when everything comes, already built in, out of the box, You open the camera, it has a setting menu, let's say, and you can figure out. Like a Yodeck. No.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. No. I mean, obviously, our motto, let's say, is that you just plug in the Raspberry Pi, you create an account, you're ready to go. There's no configuration, everything is coming ready. But okay, it was obviously not the reason I said that. I actually prefer products that cover my needs.
Plug and play.
Yeah, I want it to be ready, even as a programmer. It's what I do 8 hours a day, configuring stuff. I'm writing code. Please, my products, when I buy them, I want the option to configure them, but also I want a lot of options to be the default that's gonna work for me.
Out of the box.
Yeah, or be easy and accessible on how I can actually edit the settings. I need the menu in, let's say, or just tell me that I can do it without, taking a risk, as you said before. And that's also...
It's not the feeling that when you buy a new hardware, software, whatever, and you install it, to be able to feel that now I own it and I can do whatever I want with it.
Yeah.
Without reading a 10 pages long legal notice about what to do and what risk I have if I do it and whatever.
Yeah. Because it's always you're taking a new phone and you're
what kind of operating system do you use?
I use Windows. I use Windows.
Oh, you're lying now.
No. I use Windows with WSL, so I actually work on the Linux, which I have installed Ubuntu because it was the default for WSL. That's the case. So
I think Windows is good. Like,
because of my life, I was using Windows because I am also a gamer, so it was easier to play games on Windows.
Yeah, and if you learn how to modify Windows.
Yeah, I play games. I use Linux.
Yeah,
exclusively for the past 6 years, I think.
Yeah, in the last years, Linux obviously, took it to the next level.
Yeah.
But in older times, sorry.
Yeah, it was a problem.
But I was discussing that with Panos, our IT guy. I always have issues with any distribution I've used, and I've used many. I like distro hopping once in a while, and I always have issues that this doesn't work and this are tweaking and.
On Linux.
But yeah, on Linux.
Okay.
Although I don't think that's exclusive to Linux nowadays, but anyway. So you always have this kind of issues with Linux, okay?
Yeah.
But the feeling that, this is my thing and I can do whatever I want with it, and it's easy to actually modify it and adjust it and make it my own the way I like it and work the way I like it, it's unbeatable.
Yeah, I mean...
Depends. But for instance,
that's a topic for a different podcast.
Yeah,
because
please.
We're gonna have Capetanos here.
Oh, yeah.
To discuss that.
He's pro Linux.
Oh.
Yes.
I will bring somebody pro
Fedora, I think.
No, we don't want those kind of people. No.
I'm not staying alone.
It's a different thing to say I use Windows because I'm used to it and I don't want to.
No, it's not that.
And another thing to say, I'm a fan of Windows.
It's not
that. Obviously.
Now our friendship's at stake, depending on what you say.
If I work with Linux,
and I said friendship,
somebody sends me an Excel file or and then have you tried to open Office instead of Windows Office Suite?
I don't use Windows Office Suite.
Have you tried to do graphic design on Linux?
No, I don't do.
Have you tried to mod a video on Linux?
No, it's not part of what I do. But
so it's another discussion. I have things to explain to you.
Then you can say, I need to use that software, and it's not available.
Okay, actually, I have
in the army actually.
Okay.
Because they had Linux there, and it was very difficult.
I have actually used WSL. I had a video that was way too big, and I wanted to compress it.
Okay.
But I wanted the audio to be, crystal clear, and I should not lose any of that. But I was
no audio quality.
Yeah, but I could, compromise with lowering the resolution, let's say, of the video, And I actually tried doing it on Windows, and I was like, what is this program? What is this other program? I wasn't sure what I wanted to use. I didn't want it to be complex. And then I was like, is there something in Linux? Because just decompress, it should be just one command. There is a tool. It's called FFmpeg. I don't know
exactly. Or something.
Yeah, something. I don't remember the exact tool. It's really, popular, and
it's just a line that in the terminal. And,
obviously. I also used, AI, ChatGPT, exactly. And it was like, just pass these flags, which I did search them in the documentation just to be sure that ChatGPT is not lying, And I was like, makes sense. It was like, it was saying that it will take 5 minutes. I was like, I can wait and, see the results. But yeah, I did it on Windows WSL though, because I have learned working on Windows because that's what I had my whole life. There was a point where I was like, I should switch to Linux for my work, And that's when I took the decision to just use WSL, which I was kind of familiar also. So I now use both, kind of.
Well, to answer the question about Windows though, because I'm the Windows defender now.
No, don't care.
There are tools, but it's paid tools. That, for instance, Adobe Premiere Pro, you have full control of what you export, and you can play with all the numbers. It gives you full control. But it's a paid version, and it's not user-friendly, so it's not for a person that will do it once. You will not pay a subscription to Adobe that costs a lot of money to just do it once. Yeah. it's for pros. And the truth is that there are on Windows a lot of free programs to do video editing and cut, but they don't focus on the export because it's not user friendly for. Usually the free versions are for people that are new.
Yeah.
And they focus on the UI and they make all the buttons easy to. But on the export, they just give you something default. You don't have access to anything. Yeah.
Also, they usually have the how it's called this template, not splash screen. They say the product with some transparent letters. At your video.
Yeah.
They also do that a lot of programs.
Or watermarks.
Watermarks. Yeah. So both are good, Linux and Windows. I like them both. Okay, guys. Okay.
Actually, I had a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Checking on your key responsibilities on Yodeck.
Yeah.
So it's enhancing Yodeck's app gallery with responsive applications, creating seamless integrations to improve the user experience, and implementing agile methodologies for efficient project delivery. I want to ask you about the third one, actually.
Okay.
The agile methodologies.
Yeah, because we're called the Lean Bar.
That's one thing. And by the way, you have to say why we call this a lean bar and there's no bar inside.
I was thinking actually to not say, but we can reward the earlier viewers of the podcast by answering this question now, and then never answer it until we get 10K subs.
10K subs.
So whoever the first people that stayed and listened, they will have the answer.
Okay. So we'll have to say that in the first episodes.
Yeah, this is the second. We can say it now. That came up.
Okay.
So what?
Do you know why we call it lean bar?
No idea.
No?
How would I?
You want to start the story?
The story. I think you should have start the story because you are
the way the sitting arrangement are in our offices, I sit next to Panos, our IT guy, and obviously I'm gonna expose him now because he's not here.
Yeah.
And among other things, we found that we have a common, let's say, love for a specific type of drink.
Bourbon, specifically.
Yes, specifically this one. And because of that, we usually have somewhere in the office a bottle of two, and if we happen to be late in the office working, we pour one. Yeah. And that happened over not particularly long, but relatively long period of time. And several bottles were accumulated in front of the offices of our desks. And at some point we were discussing, maybe we should have, a bar at the office for,
with empty
after work hours, barely, where, people can chill out and relax after, the hard 8-hour working day. So we had a very convenient place behind our desk where there was a space that could hold several bottles.
Yeah.
And
it's a very discreet mini bar.
There was a wall, and we decided, we can put some neon sign here, drinks here or something like that. And, we were talking, and one idea came one after the other, and we kind of decided to call it, at the beginning was the Starttech bar. And then we said, maybe because we evangelized, the lean startup methodology here, the whole organization and so on, to call it the lean bar. It's not going to be like a huge bar anyway, so it kind of makes sense. And right behind us, there's a neon sign, the lean bar, green letters, a few bottles there. So the original idea was that we could maybe film the podcast right there, but because there were people working and it wasn't a very good setup.
Yeah. For instance, if somebody types when we talk.
We like the name a lot, so we got stuck.
Talking while the other one
was working. You would feel weird.
Makes sense.
So that's why the lean bar. So
Okay.
let's return to your original question to Yanis.
Now
Okay,
I have
yeah.
to show them a video of the lean bar. They will be curious. I will film it downstairs.
Yeah, okay.
I
We can
mean,
include it somewhere here.
yeah. So after the video, no. Okay. So how Yodeck operates? We do have already an agile coach, Vasilis, and he does an exceptional work, because he handles a lot of teams actually. So what happens is that
all of them.
a lot of teams. I mean,
Not all of them.
I don't actually know how marketing works.
Okay.
Or
Oh,
sales,
you mean the development?
but in the
teams.
engineering,
Okay,
he handles
great.
all of them. So it's all of them talking about engineering. Yeah, so what happens is that, okay, when you have only one person, for everything, he can't be everything everywhere at once. And so, I was kind of curious about the agile methodologies because actually we had a project in university where we had to create an agile tool for teams to work on, and we should build that tool using agile methodologies.
Okay.
So it was a combination of watching
As an inception kind of thing.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you were working with agile methodologies on something that other people should use to work on agile methodologies. So we could watch it from all the different, point of views, how you use it, why you use it, how you want it to be, So I was already linked to that idea. And so I came here, I saw Vasilis, and I was really, inspired by what he does. So I actually studied I studied for Scrum, actually, which is a framework that is under the umbrella of Agile and Lean methodologies. So yeah, I got my Scrum certification. The Scrum certifications and go through different levels. There's the, let's say, level 1, level 2, level 3. The level 3 being the most difficult one to get because you need to use...
Scrum Master or...
I'm not trying, actually...
I mean, the level 5 is to be...
Yeah, I don't...
to be able to do that role, or...
Yeah, I think...
Or not necessarily.
I think that, since it's just a certification and you have to pass some tests for that, it's just, to showcase your knowledge level.
Accreditation, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So probably I think in the top levels, it means that you can handle a lot of different Scrum teams together because there are some frameworks outside of Scrum that says that you can actually use agile methodologies so that you can work with a lot of agile teams. So, it's actually showcasing that you know really what Scrum is about, that you can cut and add stuff on it that you actually use and need, because it's just a framework, as I said. So I only got the lowest level, which just says that you understand the basics of Scrum, and I will probably not go after the advanced levels. But what I already know, I think it is, it's sufficient for what I do, because I'm not a Scrum Master myself, but I try to use all the knowledge that I have in my work, because obviously I am working inside a team. Scrum methodologies have a lot of meetings, let's say.
Ceremonies, I think.
No, it is artifacts, I think.
Artifacts?
I think it's artifacts.
Okay.
But I have studied 4 years ago.
Okay.
Or 3, I don't remember. So yeah. I don't
Correct
remember.
us in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the lowest level of Scrum, so don't shoot me here.
But now you have to transfer that to Voles, where you're going to be handling new teams, yes?
I will actually use that knowledge because I will be handling a new team with people that doesn't know what Lean, Agile, and Scrum means.
At least in practice. I mean, I've heard it in theory, but...
Yeah, reading something and actually using it is really different. I really like the idea that, when you're working on something, okay, it's what you do every day. So it has to be something that works for you. It's not that, I read this amazing guide and I should follow it 100%.
I find that if you stick to, was it 5 or 4 or 6, I don't remember, principles in the Agile Manifesto, and you actually get behind those and the whole team gets behind those, for most cases that's more than good enough.
This is the key, actually.
To realize that, people interactions before processes, working software before documentation. And what the Agile says, manifesto says at the beginning, we want both the things on the left and the things on the right. We just care and we value more the things on that side rather than the things on the other side. If you just stick to that, the basic principles, I think it's enough for a team to actually get together and find a way to base on those principles to organize how they work, how they communicate, how they do whatever they do every day.
Yeah, obviously.
I think that's the key, that in theory, you hear these, let's say, rules, for instance, and you understand them. You say, yes. But it's one thing to understand them and another thing to practice them, yeah. Especially if you have, like, in your muscle memory, a lot of years of different way of working in different companies with different culture, then I think it's a bit harder to adapt and decide to actively use them and think out of the box.
As humans, we can always adapt to something, okay? But when you're working on something for years after years, day after day, it's obviously getting harder and harder. And even as
habits
a single...
are difficult to...
habits are really difficult. And even if you are able to, just decide that, yes, I will actively think that I want to stop that habit, it's not just a habit when everyone follows that rule set, let's say, because, okay, I will actively think about breaking this habit.
Yeah, I mean, habits
but
become
how
culture,
about,
and then that's not
culture,
easy to change.
Yeah, culture is really more difficult to change.
Yeah.
For example, we have a meeting, okay, that we are here with 3 people, we're talking. If one of us was not interested in this or was not actively participating in it and actually had no role in this meeting, just don't come to the meeting.
Yes.
We're not here to do the meeting, we're here to actually write some code and promote a product or whatever our job description is.
It's to serve whatever you do, not serve the meeting as a meeting.
Yeah, exactly. This idea is, I think, the core.
It creates
a lot of opportunities.
It creates a lot of bad habits and, let's say, bad taste, because you keep coming to a meeting and feel that I'm not getting anything of value here. I'm wasting my time. Yeah. If you do it once, twice, then it becomes like a thing about the whole work you do. It's very contagious.
And I think it's also up to you, because there are some characters that on a brainstorming
they find it hard to say, I'm not contributing. Maybe I should leave.
When you are silent in a meeting, there's 2 reasons. Reason one is that you absorb all the information and you are in your head.
You accept that you're getting value there.
Yeah, that you are getting value, yes. And these people sometimes, they might not speak in the 95% of the meeting, but on the last 5% they will
have something interesting and valuable to say.
But if it's the other case, that you are silent because this has nothing to do with the tasks you do, or doesn't interest you, or doesn't affect your tasks or whatever, then it's up to you to stand up and walk away.
Exactly.
And everybody's gonna appreciate that.
They should.
So Yannis, now you're going to Volos?
Yes.
And is your work's gonna shift from being an engineer mostly, doing hands-on work, to being more of a manager, let's call it?
Tutor.
First of all, is that true, that statement?
I'm going to Volos.
No. That you're going to be mostly a managerial, let's say, role rather than an engineer.
Okay, so...
Or it's going to be a big split between those two?
It's going to be a split, actually, and about the role specifically, okay, we now have the running cycle of our performance reviews. So we are now...
I remember those,
We are now, in that state where, okay, yes, I did a good job on what they wanted from me in the last year, and now you're changing role, and what is that role going to be? It's still in the talks. So we have not decided exactly the name of the role, but what I understand from what we've talked about is that I'm actually going to have like 3-4 hats that I'm going to be changing all the time. Okay, so one of them roles is that I'm gonna be a kinda assistant of a Scrum Master or Scrum Master myself, because obviously the new team, it's an extra overhead on Vasilis's, our Scrum Master part. So it's always easier to talk about stuff with people when you are close to them, like physically close.
Remotely.
Yeah, because you know when you have the camera.
Obviously, that's undeniable.
So about the agile methodologies, Scrum says that there is a specific meeting that's called retrospective meeting, and the point of that meeting is that the team gets together and they say what went wrong and how can they improve in their work and their communication. So for me, that meeting, you should be able to do it. I mean, in the office, where you can watch each other and actually talk, not just on camera, so you can see the whole body language and what it has to say, and be more open to say that I disagree with what we did there, or yes, I want to congratulate my teammate on that. So, for example, there are some points that you need actually a Scrum Master that's close to the people. So one of them hats is gonna be
you
that.
might have to go through the other certifications.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I hope that Vasilis will teach me, a lot of things, and he will always be there to just, hey, Vasilis, should we do this or that, So yeah, I mean, we already have sit down with Vasilis to actually think about how the sprints are gonna go, because we now have sprints of 2 weeks, and I was like, let's do it every week. The sprint should only take 1 week because the project in the start is going to be that way. We have talked a lot about the meetings and
maybe
how
it's better for a new team to have shorter steps in order to better get in sync with each other and so on.
Yes, and it's also easier to, because we're going to get juniors, actually, it's easier for you to see your professional trajectory. So that's one of the hats. The other hat is the one I'm already wearing, which is engineer, because I will keep writing code. At the start, it's gonna be at the same level as now. I don't know how it's gonna be in the future. I mean,
what's the third cat then?
Yeah, I mean, being an engineer and writing code is actually, I mean, even if I don't actually write the code myself, when I'm going to help another one, my team, to write their own code, I'm actually contributing also to writing code. So, writing code will never stop. So my hat as engineer will never stop, but I will try to actually combine it with being a tutor, as you said before, because I have to teach these new hires how we work at Yodeck and how we write code and why we write code the way we do, because we have our difficulties in digital signage software, so you have to write code that actually runs in our ecosystem. So I'm gonna balance that. How much I'm gonna teach, how much I'm gonna write the code, because obviously the product is always running, the clients always want more things. So that's 3, and also the managerial hat because I'm gonna be the point of contact actually, because Volos is another city, it's not Athens, and the HR is here, the other managers are here, so I'm gonna be that contact point where everyone is gonna ask me, hey,
how things are there.
Yeah, or how things are here, whatever questions they have about the work, I'm the one they're gonna come to, or maybe give them the tools and open them up for the people here, so that they can talk.
I mean, I don't like to use big sounding titles, but basically you're going to be the manager of a branch.
Yeah, I mean,
in one form or another.
Yeah, actually,
I don't know if that sounds intimidating.
I mean, it kind of does, but
I know. I mean, it's this thing that's always a problem for growing companies. Yeah, when you are promoted from a doer to a manager, it's a full-time job. You have to spend a lot of time getting to know, first of all your team members, because you're going to be in the same space working together for hopefully some period of time. And you need to get to know them. You need to try to instruct them and make them part of the organization and the culture and the habits and so on. You have the technical training that you have to do. You have the cultural training, if that's a valid term, that you need to do. You have to be helpful in developing their skills. There's so many things that you have to do as a manager that, there comes a time where you do 1% coding, if you were a coder, engineer, and you have to do 90%, 99% management.
Especially if you...
And that's, someone has to fill the gap because you don't do the work anymore. You might, go into a mode of saying, I was so nice during those years where it was me and my computer and writing code, and I enjoyed it, and now I have to do that crappy managerial stuff. It's always a problem for all companies, and they all face it sooner or later.
I am kind of confident, to be honest, but you had something to add?
Yeah, that it's kind of weird how something that would take you 5 minutes to do it yourself, when you have to explain something else and you try to help them find the answer and do it properly, it will take even 2 hours it can take.
Yeah, really. Obviously, while you teach someone something, it's the trade-off.
Yeah, it's an investment.
It's an investment. I'm losing time now, so that later I'm gonna save this time like multiplied by a lot,
It's the idea of the sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something now, you're going to get a reward later.
Yeah. But, actually I'm kind of confident in the way that when I firstly came here, I actually work on the apps. As you said in my description, in the app gallery we have apps. What we do is that every app is different from the other one, okay? So every app has its own, needs. So that needs in a day-to-day basis, from my part, to be able to, have an app that's stable, that works, gets updates. I had to work with product managers. I had to work with designers. I had to work with sales sometimes, because, sales will obviously come and ask me, hey, how does that app work? Because I want to know. It's my job,
There's not much point having an app in the gallery if it's not selling.
Obviously, marketing also. So, I obviously then technical talks with other teams, because the interesting thing about apps is that I'm writing some software that's gonna be shown in the web browser of a user that's gonna set up this app, and this app is gonna then run on hardware, either Raspberry Pi or Android or whatever we have right now on Yodeck.
Or the Fire Sticks or Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot. So, I always had to communicate, with each other. So it really gave me a great idea of who to talk to, how to talk to, and when to talk to someone, Yeah, and it really, even though it doesn't, translate to engineer point of view, that I'm learning new front-end frameworks, or I'm learning how to handle better errors in JavaScript, let's say. Even though it's not that skill, this communicational skill really promoted...
Makes you a better engineer.
Yeah, I think it made me a better engineer, because I understand what's going on. I understand, how to fix it. Because I know when to stop my own research on something. Because now I understand that, okay, this really seems like a problem for that team to talk to, and ask them. Is it small for me to, just mingle in your stuff? Or is it something that you should do it, work it on your team, and just come back to me with an answer? So, having that knowledge of the people here, I'm really confident that when I go to Volos, it will be really easy to communicate with the people here. And actually, I want to pass that, culture that we're open here, we communicate with each other, and
we
educate each other, obviously. And one's problem is actually everyone's problem, because we're working as a team. It's not that I'm taking the requirements of a project and I'm doing it. We actually work for a product. It's not that we work for this specific task.
That's a great point, because a lot of engineers or software developers that have not used to be part of a team or multiple teams, where multiple teams are involved in creating something, sooner or later it becomes obvious that it's difficult to work with him. I mean, the job is not to write the code, just write X lines of code to do X things. Is to create something at the end that works, and it's a product that someone wants to buy, and you have to coordinate with a lot of different teams, some non-technical teams. You have to be able to relay that information to people that don't have your technical knowledge.
Can I give an example about sharing the information?
Yeah, later. So you have to do all that, and that's part of the job. And people that work alone do not develop that skill because they don't used to work in that kind of setting. And that's like I don't know how to say it. It's almost a force multiplier. You can do. Maybe if you do just coding, you're gonna do 10 units of work. But if you work in a team and you do 5 units of work and you have all the other things, that goes 10 times x 10, and that's the output is much bigger.
Yeah, because it's actually based on
all that communication. It's it's a critical part of being in a team, being a developer in a team. It's not something. It's not a nice to have. It's a must have.
Yeah. Before you say, I just want to share, it's I don't remember, it's a quote from someone, known to the world, which said that, knowledge is free to give, you lose nothing. So that multiplier is that sharing the knowledge that you have, you actually make everyone produce more units, as you said before. So it's free, just do it. Say your ideas, say what you know. It's going to help everyone.
Yes, and in a team setting, the actual capacity of the team is dictated by, let's say, the smallest cog or the slowest.
Weight of the sound.
Doesn't matter. Or the slowest person. So if you manage to improve everyone, you improve the whole team and the whole output.
So you had the story, sure?
Yeah. That in one of the apps we are building, as the person that's communicating with the clients on the sales departments, I guess, they had a demo and the guy said that I need this feature and you don't have it, so it's a no. But the thing is that we had the feature, right? The lady told him, but we have the feature and it's here and you click there and you find it, and actually made the sale. So she actually did her job. If she keeps this information to herself, then it doesn't grow.
It actually did more than her job, because
the thing is that
she discovered an issue.
Exactly.
She
communicated the information.
She managed to close a sale, which is critical for any startup.
Yeah.
Any business, not any startup. She managed to relay that information to the developer team to improve the app, because people couldn't find it. Exactly. She relayed that information to us to put that information to the website because people wouldn't find it. We have something new to include in our marketing material. So 4 things at least she did, apart from closing a sale, just by communicating that thing.
And I think it goes backwards as well, that the developers had educated her that this thing is over there, for instance. Like, it's both ways.
Yeah. Communication is always, 2 ways. I'm a developer. If I only communicate the technical needs that I have, I will never understand why I need those technical needs, or if I can, if I can do it another way. Because let's say, for example, that I'm working on something and I'm wasting like 2 days on fixing a bug. If this bug is just a warning message that no one's gonna see, and it's not actually, making it difficult for the user, it's just, notification.
It's a waste of your time.
It's just a waste of my time, but, I should be able to receive the feedback and understand when the product comes and says, no, we just want, the user to be happy with what he has. And that bug you're working on, it's not that serious. I have to know that. I have to be able to communicate with my product owner, product manager, even the designer, and all that stuff, the sales. Because when I receive feedback from sales about something, and I understand that feedback, I'm gonna work better because I'm gonna work on the matters that stuff, on the stuff that matters.
And those things are mentioned in like Scrum and Lean frameworks.
Yeah, because
Agile frameworks.
Yeah.
You know,
obviously.
Cross-functional teams. There's mention about cross-functional teams. They work better if they are cross-functional. About when you're creating tasks and epics and whatever, that there has to be a customer-facing value to all of those. Because otherwise, why you do it?
Yeah.
And that's a way to prioritize them, because what has the most value has to go up and be developed and finished first.
Yeah, exactly. Also a lot of times as a developer, I'm working on something and I test it. I want to see the end result. I'm happy with the end result. If I'm not happy, I should question myself and my product owner, product manager. Since I'm not happy, is it okay that I am not happy as an engineer, or is it that I'm not happy as a customer? Because you have to understand what the customer accepts.
Most of the times you're not the target group.
Yeah, obviously. But you have to know it really helps to understand the target group. Because, for example, in apps, how the apps work in Yodeck is that you have a form that has some configuration settings, and then you assign it to a screen, and it plays with the settings you provided. I have to be able to understand, does that setting make sense? Or which is the default value for that? If, for example, the user don't want to set it. Or I don't really like this. Should I ask my product manager, maybe we should add an option for that? Or is it making the form too complicated? I'm sorry. All that stuff really combines together to actually be a better engineer, to understand, and not just engineer, I think for everyone it's better to understand the product you're working on.
Do you have a date on when you are...
Not exactly.
No, okay.
No.
Roughly?
Roughly, I guess, next month.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be there.
It's not that far ahead.
No, it's really close. I think we're gonna start taking interviews and stuff like in the next weeks.
So you've set up offices and everything?
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's why I don't know. Actually, we have some work yet to do on the office. And
but we have a space ready.
We have a space. We're working on it. So I just don't know the chronicle diagram. Let's say. So it's gonna be in the next weeks. If you want to close it, I want to share a story, a real life story.
Of course.
We do have a link that you don't know about, and it's based on the Secret Santa, because here in Starttech, Secret Santa.
Okay.
So, Secret Santa, for if anyone doesn't know, is that a lot of people come together and they say that we want to exchange gifts, and we did that in the company, Starttech, both Yodeck, because we're in the same offices. Whoever wanted to participate was just filling a form with some information about his interests and who he is, obviously. And then we each got one name, one person to give the gift to, but we didn't have to, show ourselves. It was a secret Santa. That's why it's called that way. So actually, Thanos gifted me a gift because there was a mix, I think, with emails and stuff. But what I think Aristides doesn't know is that I was your Secret Santa.
Really? Oh,
so we
thank
have
you very
this,
much.
We have this
Right order.
Okay.
Yeah. It was this exactly,
So
list.
weird, huh?
Yeah. So it
was a very good choice.
It was a bourbon.
No, it wasn't a bourbon.
It wasn't a bourbon.
It was a Jameson.
Single
It was
malt.
an Irish whiskey.
Yeah, okay.
It's not single malt.
Jameson is mixed?
Yes.
I don't remember. Okay, yeah. I don't remember because I wasn't sure what to get you. And then I was
No, Jameson is fine.
I was
It
thinking,
was,
whiskey, yeah, sure.
I didn't remember what he got, but I remember he was happy.
Okay, yeah.
yeah, very happy.
Then I'm happy to.
You ran out.
It's done, finished.
Yeah, I see.
That's a different thing. That's,
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
That was
No, I was very happy, and I was contemplating whether I should, post in Slack, thank you very much to that great gift.
Yeah, it's always that.
I was like, maybe it's too cringy. And,
Yeah. Well, I didn't have to think about that because he came himself and he was like, here's your gift.
Oh, okay.
We had incidents. Yeah,
Okay. It was a technical issue then or something.
Yeah.
different story. Next time we will call you. I will say that story. Mine is more boring.
I mean, what were the chances that we had this
right?
Yeah.
thing and you brought his gift and he was mine?
Yeah, in 100 plus person.
Yes.
What was this? And you were the only person that knew everything.
Yeah, all along. I said nothing till now.
Knew one part, he didn't know.
It was as if he knew in the future we would have this discussion and would reveal it only then. There was a prophecy.
Awesome.
Okay.
Crazy. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for your time, man.
Thank you for having me, guys. It was really good.
It was really enjoyable.
Yeah, really. It was an nice
Good luck
experience.
with your new venture.
Have to invite me in Volos, and we'll do a vlog to showcase how it's there and the new office and all these things.
Yes.
Obviously, yeah.
We should do an episode there.
Yeah. Later on, when your department skyrockets, you will pay for my transportation.
Of course, yeah.
Because you're going to be a branch manager.
Yeah, also a new camera, stuff.
No.
No, they're going to have their own setup there.
I only want a nice hotel, and I'll do the rest.
Okay.
There's a lot of
Let me handle it. Yeah, that's surely gonna be on me if you can.
Oh, awesome.
And you. I will include you.
Oh, thank you.
The podcast is 2 members, no?
Right?
Obviously, guys, obviously.
Yeah, bros.
Okay.
So if you stayed until this moment, please like and subscribe.
Leave a comment.
79% of you that is not subscribed. I'm watching. Kidding. We'll see you.
And leave a comment.
Oh yeah, leave a comment, please.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, okay.
It was.
Thank you, guys.
We did it before.
Yeah. That's okay. We like each other.
Yes, of course. we bought gifts to each other.
Yeah.